Alright, let's do some breeding again. This time, let's look at the Praecox Rainbow. The Melitania Praecox, also known as Dwarf Rainbow, Dwarf Neon Rainbow, Diamond Rainbow. It's got a million different names out there. Let's call it the Praecox Rainbow for this video, and let's share the secrets on how to breed them right after this. So the Praecox Rainbow goes by many different names. It's the Melitania Praecox. That's its scientific name, but in the store you may see it as a Praecox Rainbow, a Dwarf Neon Rainbow, a Neon Rainbow, a Diamond Rainbow. There's a million different names out there for it. But for this video, I will call it the Praecox Rainbow. They are awesome little fish. The Praecox gets about 3 inches. So it's not huge. You can keep it in some smaller tanks, unlike some other rainbows. The Praecox, it's pretty colorful. It has like a bluish silver look to its body, and the fins will either be red or a yellowish orange. And we'll get back to that in a minute. They stay pretty easy to feed. They'll take about anything. They stay in the water, swimming around the school, and they're just awesome little fish. The Praecox is endemic, which means it only comes from this one place in the entire world. It's endemic to the Merambo, I may have mispronounced that, river basin in Indonesia. In the little island up there, oh, what's it called? Papua? Something like that. Anyways, it's right there above Australia, comes Indonesia, and it comes from that one river basin. Is the only place it comes from in the whole world. Right now they're not like endangered or anything. There's plenty of them out there, and they're really popular in the hobby. To breed them is fairly easy. It takes a little bit of work, but there's definitely a secret to maintaining them and doing it. The first thing you need to know is what size tank. I breed them in a 20-gallon high. I wouldn't go any smaller than that personally because they need some swimming room, and a 20-gallon is a great size for them. You can go bigger if you want, but a 20-gallon high does the job. In the wild, their water temperature, you want to mimic the wild, so you're looking at a water temperature of 74 to 78. They can go to 72 or 80, you know, in there. I've got them running about 75 to 77 in here. The water's typically hard. They can do softer water, but they prefer the hard water. And they like planted tanks, but you kind of got to be careful with that, and we'll come back to that in a minute. So the first thing, besides getting your tank and your water, is you need to make sure you have both males and females. It's hard to breed anything, with a few exceptions, if you only have one gender of the species. So how do you tell males and females on these fish? That's the super easy part. Remember when I said they're either going to have red fins or yellowish orange fins? That's how you tell. The boys have the bright red fins, and the girls have the yellowish orange fins. So just at a glance, you can tell if you've got boys and girls. Ideally, you'll have more girls than you do boys. So 2 to 3 girls for every boy, and that will be good numbers for breeding. Some people say to move out a pair or a trio to breed because they will eat their own and other eggs and each other's eggs. Rainbows aren't the smartest fish in the world, and that's kind of the running joke with them, is that they got the big bodies, the big pretty bodies, and the teeny tiny brains. Rainbows aren't the smartest, and they forget that they've laid eggs and just see some scrumptious food floating around or stuck in the plants or the mop or whatever. So the first thing you need to do, get your tank, get your water, get it set up, get a good established tank, make sure you got boys and girls in there, and feed them good. Keep the water clean. So how do you feed them good? Like I said, they'll take a variety of foods. Flakes, pellets, frozen, live, freeze-dried. They don't care. They will eat anything, including their own eggs. Feed them good, get them plumped up. The girls will get a little plump when they're full of eggs. The boys will start showing off. And I breed them right in the same tank. I breed them right in the community tank. Some people will take a pair out and put them in a separate tank and all that kind of stuff. That's more work than what I want to do. I'm here for the lazy way to breed the fish. So, got your fish in the tank. You got some plants in there. The trick that I use is a spawning mop because they have adhesive eggs and they will stick their eggs into plants or plant roots. And that's why I said be careful with your plants, because if you have lots of bushy plants in there, they're as likely to lay their eggs in hornwort as they are your spawning mop. It's a lot easier to take care of the eggs and grow the fish if they're in a spawning mop. So let's take a look here at the spawning mop. So a spawning mop basically is just an artificial plant that's designed to collect eggs. Typically, it has, in the case of the rainbows, a flotation device. This one's got a ping pong ball. You can use cork. Some people have used pieces of styrofoam or fishing bobbers, whatever, just to keep it floating up there, because the rainbows like a floating mop. The mop's made out of an acrylic yarn, typically between 20 and 100 strands of yarn. Different people like different things. And you just float it down in there. They would typically lay when their lights come on or when morning arrives. And as you can see here, them attracted to the mop, they'll lay in there, deposit their eggs. The male will apparently eat eggs. Stop it. But they will lay. The male will come over, and a female will go into the mop, lay eggs. The males will fertilize them, and if you got others in there, it's likely that they'll swing back around, and if they see an egg, they'll pluck it out and eat it. That's why some people pull the mops out and keep the pair to breed without the other third, fourth, fifth wheels. But what I do is I pull the mop out, and so it's dripping water and stuff. It's okay to take it and gently wring it, just squeeze some water out. The eggs are really hardy, so you can do that so that you're not dripping water everywhere, and let's go from there. So I just recorded this session part of the way through without hitting record, so let's try this again. I'm just over here on a lid to one of the tanks. I have a little tub here with some water in it, and this is really for demonstration, but you want a dark colored mop. That's one of the secrets. I've done it with yellow mops and stuff, like this one here. Eggs are hard for me to see on this mop, but some people could probably do it. This dark colored mop, it's much better, and you can see right there eggs. That's what an egg looks like, just like a little tiny little clearish marble looking thing. So there will be eggs all through the mop here. A couple different methods. You could take this mop just as it is, toss it in the container here with water, or in a tank without any fish in it, and you'll hatch some eggs out. Other way is you can actually go in and you can see it there, pick the eggs off. Now the eggs are really durable. They're sticky, but not too sticky, so they'll kind of stick to your finger a little bit. And you can pull them off and you can drop them in your container. So I don't have one set up right now. Like, I could put it in this and hatch them out in this, but we're just going to move to the next step so that you don't have to worry about that. Method that I'm using for these right here that I've got going now is this just little plastic tray floating in the water here, and I've got a drip system going in. You're probably familiar with this system. It has a sponge up here with a hole cut in the tray that the water, as it fills up to that point, recirculates back down into this tank here. Got a pump that pumps it up and it drips. Real simple. You don't have to have that. You can just float the tub in the water. You can have it setting out. The first batch of these that I did, I just had the tray setting out. Actually, I've done that on a few batches. Had the tray setting out on a table with an air stone. As long as you got a little movement in the water, it will help to keep the eggs from fungusing up. And fungusing is when an egg goes bad and the bacteria starts to decompose the egg. The fungus can spread to other eggs and kill them. And you can use something like methylene blue or hydrogen peroxide or something like that to help do antifungal. You can also use botanicals. Botanicals are great for antifungal. Some people will put shrimp in there because the neocaridina shrimp will eat fungused eggs, and there's a debate that most people believe that they won't eat good eggs. I just use an air stone while I have eggs in the tray, and that keeps the water flowing across them and keeps them from fungusing up. You can remove fungused eggs if you see them. And let's see. Let me turn this water off for just a minute. Let's see if we can get a better view. Alright. It's kind of hard to see in these things sometimes when the water's moving. But these rainbow eggs will hatch between 7 and 14 days. So somewhere around the 10-day mark, depending on your temperature, your hardness of your water, and different things, they will hatch. And as soon as they hatch, they're hungry. Rainbows aren't hatched out with a yolk sac like most fish, so they don't have that reserve to get them through. When they hatch out, they need food then. So that's, you can see the algae growing in these trays here. I do that on purpose because when algae grows, then microbe life will grow. Little microscopic creatures that they can eat. So you can grow your own microscopic creatures, Infusoria, Paramecium, that type of stuff to feed them. I actually got some green water, and that's great for them. If you get green water and you have them hatch out in green water, then they've got all that food. They're surrounded by food to be able to eat. And that is the secret to breeding and raising Praecox Rainbows, is they have to have food. As soon as they hatch out, they need to be swimming in food. So you can do the Parameciums and the Infusoria, and as they get bigger, vinegar eels and stuff. But they can also use egg yolk, the aquarium co-op nano feed, nano food, or whatever it's called, or small fish food. Powdered foods, powdered fry foods work great for them. You just want the really, really small. They have tiny, tiny mouths. I've also used the this is called Ultra Fresh by Shrimp Delight Newborn Fish Micron Shrimp Patties. It's a little powdered food here, and it doesn't take much. You know, you can't even really see it on the water surface there, but if you look from underneath, it's coated the surface, but where it's a small powder, you can't really see it. And you kind of see the fry there, going and grabbing some. As they get bigger, a few weeks in, you can start doing vinegar eels, micro worms. Helps if I open the lid on the thing. Vinegar eels, micro worms, and other little larger foods, and move them up to baby brine shrimp, or you can stay with the commercial processed foods. You just need to give them a lot of food. Now, some people say feed them 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day. Well, for me, I have to go to work, and I work long hours, so I'm not here to feed them 4 or 5 times a day. I can get in the fish room once a day, and they do good. I keep them with the algae and the little microbes that are in the water that they can eat on through the day, and then I give them powdered food when I get home from work. And on days that I don't work, I can actually come in here a couple of times usually and give them food. But having the algae and the green water and the little microbes growing in there helps them be able to have stuff to eat all day long. But that's the secret to growing, breeding, raising Praecox Rainbows. The food. When they're first hatched, they have to swim in food. Give them lots of tiny food, and they'll grow up, and it'll take quite a while for them to get to an inch or so, because rainbows grow really slow. But there you have it, the secret to breeding and raising Praecox Rainbows. The Dwarf Neon Rainbow, the Diamond Rainbow, the Dwarf Rainbow, the Neon Rainbow. There's a secret. Have you ever kept the Neon Rainbows? Have you bred them? What's your secret? If you're liking this series of secrets to breeding fish, subscribe. Let me know in the comments that you're liking it. What other species should I address? Which species do you want to know how to breed? And subscribe, hit the notification bell and all that stuff, and we'll see you next time.